Okay, should we just drop in the cold open here then, Jimmy? Do you want to just? I'm assuming you're going to pick apart one of our conversations.
Sorry, we have a new intro, and we
decided we now have cold opens,
but we don't know what we should do for every cold open. So,
we were hoping you'd have an idea to throw out. Go on.
So this is pre-title sequence.
Yeah.
This is all before the show.
I
could just cut you off if you want, like.
So do you know what you want it to be like, clickbaity and engagey? Like,
we need it to be like you're bringing in the views here. You got to bring everything out.
I'm bringing in all 7 of them.
You could like repeat something now that you think you're gonna say later on in the episode, and I'll put like a grayscale like thing on it, and it makes it
make it look all emotional.
Yeah,
like they're doing hot ones where it's like
yeah.
Wait, let me think of something to say. Let me think of something to say.
How did you feel when you didn't get Mock the Week?
Which time? It's every week of my entire life. I mean, that feels like a good call.
There you go. We have it there. Nice. Awesome. Good. That's one of my favourite moments to go back and look at, that last podcast, is when we spend half an hour, all of us three being like, they must not write them jokes themselves. And you're sat there like, well, no. It's just half an hour of us bashing those.
I'm not supposed to say this. I'm definitely jeopardizing my chances.
No one fucking watches this, like you said.
You never know. BBC producers are creeps, man.
Yeah, I imagine I was watching a podcast of it was on Have a Word. I can't remember who they had on, but they had someone on lately, and he was saying that it's really going to annoy me. I can't remember his name now.
But
Freddie. Yes, Freddie Quinn. It was Freddie, yeah. And it was when he was talking about so basically, I'll fill you two in. Basically, he had a book deal going, and he made a joke about how he's not attractive, but he's really good at manipulating women. And because of this joke on a comedy podcast, they just took the book deal off him and were like,
the publishers were like, we can't be associated with you.
And in his response of being like, it's my favourite line is when they go, we don't think someone like you can have a book. And he went, well, Hitler's got a book, which is just like, it's such a good way of going. It's so good. It's genius. Yeah. So when's the Mr. Ravioli show book?
Before he made that joke on the podcast, didn't it?
What, Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitler didn't do many podcasts in his day. I suppose there's a radio show. Did Hitler do
radio
appearances?
He would have been good on podcasts.
Yeah, I think he's great. He's very passionate, I think, about what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He was a good speaker.
He was a good speaker, yeah. He'd be like, what did... Adolf,
do you guys find that really weird when people were like, to be fair to Hitler, he was a really good speaker? It's like, I think that's sort of like, does that matter? Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like if you're starting a sentence with "to be fair to Hitler," you've gone wrong.
You're in murky waters already. It's something not so good. Yeah.
No, it's all well and good that he's a good speaker. It's just like,
he was a shit artist.
You're only saying that because you can't understand what he's speaking about. I'm sure if you had a translator on the stuff he was talking about.
It's just loud and angry.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually quite easy to be a populist.
It's very easy to stand
be like, it's not your fault, it's everyone else's. Like,
it's like,
we've seen those people. It's Tommy Robinson, it's Nigel Farage.
It is.
Like, they're just fine. Like,
loud on a stage with a microphone.
Have you guys seen that? The Nigel Farage doing cameos now.
Oh, it's such a dangerous game. It's such a dangerous.
Keep paying him money.
I know.
And being like, got him, and I'm like, paid his rent? Like, what are you talking about?
I don't think he cares, honestly. Like,
Dan, was it you that kept showing me the Big Chungus one?
Entirely possible. Because I'm not the one paying for them, so I'm allowed to find them.
This is the thing. There's duality there.
Yeah, but the fact that they've got like. There's no way he can ever his political career is done, because the minute that he does anything in life,
career never existed. If I'm being
honest. Never existed. But the minute he does anything serious, it's the internet being like, remember these times we got you to say Big Chungus and
but none of that.
It means
nothing.
Of that,
man. I'm gonna go out today and I'm gonna vote for Count Binhead or whatever the fuck his name is. That's what I'm going to do today. Nothing matters.
Isn't it the guy with the letterbox on the top of his
head?
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
He's got some good policy.
Dan, I started watching more Futurama.
Oh yeah.
I watched. Are you a big fan as well, Vittorio?
The one episode. I mean, I like it generally.
Yeah,
but one of the episodes is one of the most stunning pieces of art.
Oh, go on, do tell.
As one of the most stunning pieces of art ever. In it. Well, who's a bit? Dan, are you a big fan?
Dan's a big fan of it. Yeah,
we'll know what episode. What episode has a sequence that is one of the most heart-wrenching sequences ever?
Are you talking the one with I've forgotten the dog's name.
The dog,
yeah.
Oh, is it the dog that they talk about how he had a happy life afterwards, and it shows instead the sequence of it's not a good life at all. Yeah, I know what you mean.
The episode's called Jurassic Park.
It is,
right.
That's an amazing episode. Yeah.
See, even I haven't even got that far in, and even I know that sequence is apparently hilariously not funny, but like gut wrenching and a
really
great.
It's just so
amazing.
jarring.
Yeah.
You're watching a cartoon and then you're just like, what? Why am I so sad?
I enjoy. I just watched the episode where they go to the moon, and it's just a shitty theme park. And
he says he's going to make his own theme park with blackjack and hookers.
And then he goes,
I feel like I'm bigger.
You know what? What's the line? Oh, I'm going to make it my own casino with blackjack and hookers. Screw the casino. Screw the blackjack. So good. And then I watched the one where Bender and Fry move in together, and they're in the cupboard. They're just in this tiny cupboard.
And then Fry... Bender's like staying in a closet.
They go and get a big apartment, and he's like, it doesn't feel like home. So Fry puts him in the cupboard in the house, and he's like, perfect. So much room. Oh, it's amazing. I am having a really good time with that one. Though. I've had a really good time with that. I was gonna say, is anyone else, actually, should we just have an extended chat about what everyone's been watching, if anyone's been watching anything interesting?
I've started Sopranos.
Oh, okay, this is a good conversation to have.
I'd never seen it before.
Right.
Because I get stressed about Italian stuff. Because I'm just like...
Just Italians.
Did you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, I know what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I know... Italian.
Tony! Oh, great, yeah.
It's like, okay, I've been to my dad's birthday. I know what these things are.
Yep.
But then I've watched 2 episodes and it's so good. And people say it's boring and I'm like, you're idiots. Like, it starts slow. I'm like, you're wrong. In the first 10 minutes, he boots someone in the head and hits him with a car. Like, it's so fucking... But it's just so much more interesting. Like, everything nowadays is just so fucking it's like the coloring in book of screen directing. It's just like, oh yeah, of course it's 2 people having a conversation, so there'll be one shot here and one shot each other's shoulders, and I'm like, how boring. Whereas everything in Sopranos is like, let's put a fucking camera on the armrest of the car and it'll look so weird but so good the whole time.
Yeah, let's just go nuts with it.
And shooting people from under the table, and they're all like that. It's just so much more interesting to look at.
I'm intrigued as to when it began. When did it? 1999 is when it began. There we go.
It's interesting you mentioned that people get bored with it, because I feel like that's the only criticism people have for not watching shows. It's like, oh, I just got bored by it, and then you watch the show and you're like, how'd you get bored with that?
I don't get people say it starts slowly.
Aren't they doing the?
Breaking Bad's the classic one though, right? And I feel like the pilot of Breaking Bad is one of the most entertaining episodes in that entire series.
I had a really good time with the pilot.
Slow, and I'm like, he's in his pants in the desert.
He's pointing a gun at
a farewell video.
And my favorite thing about all of that is the fact that that first hour is just him stumbling through a case of events that he cannot comprehend and doesn't know what the fuck is going on for an hour. It's brilliant. Aren't they doing the sequel series to The Sopranos? I believe with his son playing the
Gandolfini's son.
Yeah,
I think that's been in the pipeline for ages.
I remember it seemed to be all coming into fruition filming wise, and then obviously the world shut down, and that kind of seemed to stall everything. But yeah, this is a long time thing, because you're not going to have to look very far to get backing, are you? People are going to, anyone who enjoys The Sopranos genuinely, I think, would die just to watch that show.
Although Sopranos came up recently, and it makes me question why there would be a sequel, in that after the Line of Duty finale came out, everyone was talking about how The Sopranos had this amazing, perfect ending. But apparently it has lots of questions in the ending. So, I don't know. Don't fucking spoil it for me. But fair enough.
Breaking Bad, there's a lot of questions around Breaking Bad's ending as well, isn't there? Or the technical ending, anyway. There's a load of guesses as to whether or not he died in the car. Is that right?
Well,
but then they brought out that movie, El Camino.
Yeah, then they did the movie afterwards, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, we're all right. I guess we're just scrapping all of this we had." But
are you really gonna watch like the finale of Breaking Bad and go like, "It was good, but you didn't really find out if he died"?
No. You should. I actually quite like leaving questions at the end of shows.
He drove off into the sunset, basically.
Yeah, it's a better ending to do.
And then the fucking producers were like, "Wait, there's a lot of money to be made from filming the sunset." And I'm like, why? Just let him.
Honestly,
let him be.
It was fine, like the film, but like it didn't need to exist really. Like,
this is the thing, and I'm like, I preferred the 7 different like imaginary options that I had for Jesse in my head.
Yeah.
Where it's like you go, oh, maybe he did this, maybe, and I don't need to know. I don't really want.
He ended up in the moon with a casino with hookers and blackjack.
In like a western, if like the hero rides off into the sunset, quite literally, sometimes you're not gonna sit in there going, "Oh, the horse must get exhausted. They must have to stop after they get." Like it's gonna get dark soon. Like, what are they gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't think about that. You're just like, "Oh, it's finished. Like the show's ended."
Yeah, he's on to the next one. Like he's just living his life.
Yeah, I do imagine those westerns as like they're all just interconnected. They're all interconnected. It's the same cowboy going from each one riding into a new town every time. It's like
that makes Django very problematic if it's the same night actor.
Django Unchained, not the original one, right?
Yeah. Go on,
who the fuck when they say Django meets the original?
I didn't even realize that existed until about like.
I didn't know it existed until 8 seconds ago.
Well, is it not also the?
There's an original one with a white dude in it.
There's also like there's tons of original stuff. Like my favorite one is the like original Ocean's
1966.
11 is fucking abysmal, and it's just a mess of a movie. And yet they took that like however many years later and were like, yeah, we can actually do this well now. Like, is it starring Sinatra? Isn't it? Isn't it starring Sinatra?
Yeah.
It stars Sinatra. It's a mess. It stars Sinatra, and my favorite moment of it is it's set during the what's the ban on alcohol called and gambling and things. That one, thank you. And so to hide it from the cops, they build a church that when someone flicks a button, all of the like pews and the walls and everything fold out into like a club and like a casino.
That sounds brilliant, to be honest.
No, but then there's a moment where everyone is sat on the chairs in the casino and they have to flip it back to be a church. So presumably all these people who are like sat on the chairs that then fold into the wall are just crushed to death because they're like, there's no way.
I reckon they just roll about onto something else, like some sort of Wallace and Gromit contraption.
Oh, okay.
They just slide around
down a
chute somewhere else.
Yeah, down a chute, landing in like their shoes and things. Yeah, right. Okay.
That's been referenced in The Simpsons. I've just realized. In Moe's, they like turn it into a pet shop and they all get crushed in the car.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, because that's from that. But yeah, that's the original Ocean's 11.
Can I quickly interrupt? I just read the synopsis on Google for the original Django, and this was the first sentence. And tell me if this isn't the most Italian sentence you've ever seen in your life.
Oh no.
Oh.
Wait.
We're reading it.
Actually, know what it means by spaghetti western. That's a phrase I've heard.
Okay, so it's like obviously you have like the Hollywood western, the spaghetti western. The spaghetti western's like more of a kind of like it's more like gritty kind of take on like the western, right? I think the spaghetti comes
it feels like that one. I feel like that phrase is gonna disappear in the next few years.
Do you think?
Because so what's happened in recent times is everyone is getting their turn at being very angry, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and listen, almost all of it's justified. So it's like, stop saying this word, stop. And then another group goes, actually, we quite like each other. Like eventually it'll come around to Italians being like, you probably shouldn't call it just because it's directed by an Italian guy, probably don't call it a spaghetti western. Like that's not.
Do you think that was like a term that the Italian directors who made those films came up with?
No,
it's like white guy in a suit and like really not.
Definitely, yeah, it's a fucking Hollywood racist guy going, oh, we got our stuff, but those spaghetti westerns.
How are we supposed to know it's Italian if it wasn't called that?
Yeah. There's
no other references for Italy apart from spaghetti.
Yeah, of course. No, that's how it works, isn't it? Yeah. I like the fact that, I feel like things I already think that's a term that's thrown around too much. I think it's funny because I recognize, like, I can think of people saying that about just Westerns and not really quite understanding what it means. Like, it's a term that's quickly going to be like, oh, no, you actually don't get what it means. You're just saying it because in your head you know the term.
It's just
like,
sparkling cowboys.
Yeah,
it's
just there. Like, it's not anything really. Like, all right.
It reaches a certain point where it just becomes Westerns, right? Because, like, you have, like, film noir. Like, it wasn't called film noir when the film
was it made
out.
in... Yeah, but it was... No, yeah, of course it wasn't.
Like,
no,
I think it's just going to, like, become a term that we use there.
That's a really interesting era of film that I have so many questions as to... Like, I watched Mank ages back on Netflix, which is David Fincher's one about the guy who wrote Citizen Kane, and it's amazing. It's like 3.5 hours long. It's all black and white, and I was like, this is going to be so fucking long, and I'm going to turn it up after 20 minutes. And then I watched the whole thing, no breaks, and I loved it. Had a great time with it. Whatever. And then I realised why, and it's because not a lot of people can make a film in black and white and actually make it enjoyable, and quite a lot of people look at a film in black and white and go, no, why would I go watch this thing here in black and white? It looks all like weird and out of time. Or would I watch? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's shit. James Bond, No Time to Die, because that's just on my left. I just see the poster on my left. We're never going to get that movie anyway, so it doesn't make a difference now. Everything's.
Poster if you haven't seen it yet.
I'm on IMDb. It's just on my left. It's just on my left. It just says I was that or Space Jam, and that one I don't think anyone's going to go watch.
Space Jam's so good.
Well, the
new one's going to be
the new one doesn't. The new one looks awful. The new one looks awful.
LeBron James has less personality than one of Michael Jordan's fucking shoes. Like, it's ridiculous.
I like LeBron, but he's not Michael
LeBron
Jordan.
James doesn't have that like
charm
look in his eyes when he's staring at.
Yeah.
You know. Like Michael Jordan just looked depressed throughout the whole film, and that's what's kind of funny about it. Like.
Just look, there's something so boring about. I don't know if any of you play basketball, but there's something so boring about everything LeBron does that it's just like if you made The Last Dance about LeBron, it would be like, oh, what happened? He was really, really good for quite a long time.
Yeah,
there's no ebb and flow. There's no struggle. There's no it's just he was really good. He got really good players around him at all times.
Yeah, there's an interesting point to be made as well. Is that
Ohio,
this is?
Isn't he?
Yeah, he's from Ohio. Yeah.
There you go.
Jimmy with the anti-Ohio racism.
Jimmy is going for some places. Here we go. I think a point has to be made. Like, there's a thing. Supposedly the Last Dance Network have a thing in the works about Kobe Bryant, which I think is a much more.
That'll be better.
That's a much more interesting character.
He stayed in one place.
Not only that, but like he grew up in Italy. He then moved back to America. He went to He was at high school, went straight into NBA, stuff like that. LeBron did the same thing, but LeBron is, like you say, was basically christened.
It's also a boring style of play. So if and this is so specific basketball stuff, but like Kobe and Michael Jordan have amazing technical ability and footwork to get themselves the space.
Yeah, to be able to finish shots.
Be able to make a shot. LeBron James is just massive and just
power,
walks up and just makes the difficult shit. Never works. He never needs to work to create separation or do anything. It's just, and I think this is what annoys me. And I'm such a little arty wanker when it comes to sports as well. And it's the same with Messi and Ronaldo. I'm always like, yes, but you understand, people are like, oh, who's the best at football? And they're like, well, it's Ronaldo because he's physically excellent. I'm like, but you understand that sport is an entertainment business. It's an art on some level. So it's the person when it's that close, it's like, well, who's better to watch? Because LeBron is boring. So is Ronaldo. It's boring to watch.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
just
just
watch.
Someone, push someone out of the way and jump over their head and score a header. It's fine, but it's more interesting to see that kind of loads of mini story arcs of how do you overcome that? How do you overcome that? How do you overcome that? Whereas LeBron's just a fucking juggernaut, and it's just like, right, okay.
It's not really
I can't
fair,
think of a
is
single
it?
thing that like a story that's come out of LeBron James's career, but
no.
But then again, I think that's just because after you see The Last Dance, you're like, can anything really get better than that?
The Last Dance was so good.
Yeah, nothing's stopping that for a while. Can we talk? So Marvel released some new information stuff. I don't know if anyone read. They claimed they basically just released. I've just seen Morbius. Are we ever getting that film? Dan, do you know anything about that? Is that ever coming out?
Well, that's one of Sony's ones.
It's the Jared Leto. We got a trailer ages ago.
Years ago. I mean, it was probably only last year or end of 2019. But I don't know.
because we had supposedly the new titles come out, so some new title stuff come out, and one of which I was fairly certain all this stuff already came out. Like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is not a title announcement. That just makes sense.
It was some things got new names, like Captain Marvel 2 is now the Marvels, and Black Panther 2 is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I think it was also partly just everyone's going to be able to go to the cinema soon.
Yeah.
This is what we've got to look forward to in the next couple years.
Can I?
Because there was a very, very small amount of Eternals footage, which is coming out this year.
That looks good. Vittorio, are you at all interested in the new Batman?
Well, I was about to say I've just watched the Dark Knight trilogy the last few days. I mean, I'd seen it before, but I rewatched them all in the past 4 days.
Right. That's easy. That's very easy to do once you watch one. You kind of automatically gotta watch it. What favorite one of the three?
Oh, that's interesting.
And least favorite one of the three?
I think I quite like origin stories.
Okay, yeah.
So I think Batman Begins. I'm into that. I'm into the training, but then I also like that bit in the third one where he's in the prison. I like.
Oh, you like the hole?
Yeah.
He's in the hole.
I like the hard bit where it's
I have quite a controversial opinion on it. I think the third one's my favorite one. The second one's good, but
I think. I'd seen them before, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, you're very behind if you haven't. You're quite a while behind.
I've seen it multiple times before, but I was watching it, and then when that woman stabs Batman and is Bane's, she was the person who escaped the pit, I was like, fuck off. I've seen it loads of times. And it was just, it still caught me. I was like, she's so sound. And then it was bang. And I was like, you're an idiot. How did you know? But that's testament. It was fucking, that's such a good twist.
She's,
so I think the third one's
she Talia al Ghul, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Talia al Ghul.
Talia, because Nyssa was the one that was in the Arrow.
Yeah, Nyssa's in the
Arrow. I mix them up.
I those movies they're fantastic. I must admit they're absolutely brilliant. I like all three. I'm going to be honest. I don't think there's actually any real problems with all three of them. One of my favorite scenes in number 3 is the bit where he blows the hole in the football stadium, and there's the one guy who runs the entire thing, and he turns around. His face, the look he must have on him was like, the fuck? As he turns around and just notices this pit that's all collapsed in on itself. I actually really like the Batman fight with Bane in the sewers. In sewers? Underground. The one where he gets his back broken and his ass kicked.
Yeah.
I think that's a great fucking sequence. Just the fact that he is absolutely no match.
More because, the second one's great and all, obviously, but they're always talking about I feel like they talk more about the stuff that's happening in Gotham and those sorts more than they actually show it. They're always talking about Gotham's fallen to anarchy and everything's gone to shit and stuff like that. But you never really see it. I mean, there's the thing I can think of is the one shot of all the cars trying to leave Gotham in the second one.
Yeah.
And you have the 2 boats obviously that are gonna blow up. But then in the third one the roads blow up and shit. They fill the roads.
Yeah, they genuinely do a lot of shit. Yeah. I actually really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt anyway, or Robin as he's not really known, Dick. Throughout that third one, I think him himself is actually a better, not lead, but kind of a better lead than
Christian Bale's one of the worst actors in the world.
He just doesn't. In those movies, I just don't think
weird face. He tucks the corner of his lips in the whole time, and he's like,
have you watched The Prestige by any chance?
No.
Okay, because Jimmy has some bad opinions. Christian Bale does a British accent in that, and the guy can do he's from Wales. He talks a British accent anyway. Yeah, his accent's terrible. It's bad.
It sounds like he's doing a British accent. It sounds like he's doing an impression of an American doing a British accent.
That's so funny.
It's all all right, mate. And you're like, oh,
but if it was an American, they'd be like, oh, that's a pretty good attempt. But the fact that he's British is he's got that little kind of He's got that kind of British twang to it. You can kind of tell he's British still, but
it's not good. It's not good. It's not good.
I'm sure that film is great. I can't rewatch it again.
I sat down with my family to watch Peaky Blinders ages ago. Put on episode 1, and Sam Neill's trying to do essentially my accent. And because he's in the first episode,
right? Yeah,
so much.
Yeah.
And he's talking, and after about 10 minutes, I turned to everyone and went, hey, has anyone listened to a word he said, or you just got really angry? And they were like, yeah, can we turn it off? So I've never seen Peaky Blinders beyond.
I haven't. I started the episode once, and then I decided, like, to me, it's just, I'm not that interested in... I think Cillian Murphy's amazing. Like, I think him as an actor is incredible. He's absolutely brilliant in everything I've ever watched him in. He's fucking... And even in that Dark Knight trilogy, he's in 3 and 1, I think he's in as well. I don't think he's in 2, is he? But he's great.
Maybe super briefly in 2.
Yeah. He's great as Scarecrow in those movies. He kind of is an interesting dynamic. In Inception, I think he's fucking outstanding. But he's great in everything. But even I was like, I don't care about, like, there's nothing to it that makes me interested. I'm like, it's just gangs, but let's put the gangs in a time where they're a little more scary, they do a little more, and it's just everyone is going to wear these hats and fucking coats.
Also, British gangs aren't interesting.
Basically that, and also every fucking middle-aged man who went out and bought a flat cap afterwards, after you watch the show, get a hold of yourself. Like, come on, man. Like,
middle-aged men watching this show.
Yeah, Jimmy's dad. I don't know. I don't think Jimmy's dad watches the show.
The type of the shit. Providing his family game.
Yeah, out on the gangs with his flat cap. No, so yeah. But yeah, no, I watched like the first 20 minutes and then was like, this isn't for me.
But everyone goes like, oh, but Sam Neill's Northern Irish. And I'm like, no, his mum is.
Yeah.
But he's not. Like, it's not the fucking... And the same thing happened with that Wild Mountain Thyme. I don't know if you saw the trailer.
I haven't, no.
Holy fuck. So it's basically one of those classic American films set in Ireland. Like, it ticks all of the boxes. And no one knows what time period it's set in because they dress like it's the famine.
Right.
They have cars. But like really old, look like some of the first mass-produced cars.
Yeah.
Right.
And at one point, someone talks about freezing their eggs. Like, it's
right.
It makes no. And they all,
that's a mess.
When American filmmakers make stuff in Ireland, they just put dirt on everyone's face, and it really annoys me.
Everyone's working in the fields.
We're not just dirty. Like we're. It's so strange. And what happened? So Jamie Dornan's in it, but he has John Hamm's in it. He's flown over from America, and everyone's dressed like it's the famine. And also, Izzy, just come through. You can stand up. It's fine.
No, it's fine. We're not professional anyway. You can go do whatever you need to do.
Like my new bag.
It's lovely. It's wonderful.
It's very nice. They like it. They think it's good.
Yay! You guys have good taste.
But Jamie Dornan's in it, and Emily Blunt's in it. None of them can do Irish accents, but Jamie Dornan's Northern Irish, and he fucks worse than most people. It's fucking crazy.
I can't believe that, like, are we not, like, okay, so are we not done now just constantly putting actors in locations and being like, they'll figure the accent out? Like, maybe either get actors who know how to do the accents or just don't do the accents. Like, they're your two options right there. Because I don't think majority of people don't get that angry if you do, like, oh, we're going to set it here, but fuck doing the accent, just do it as English or as whatever as you want to do it, and they'll just set it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm already watching a fucking movie. Like,
if you set it in like
that's
fucking...
That's the thing though. Like, if you're setting it in England, it's going to appeal to British people, right? Like, because it's familiar, and you watch it, and they'll be like, oh, well, to Americans it sounds like it. Like, they can't tell the difference, but like to us, it's like you set a film in like I don't know, you set a film in like the East End, and everyone's talking like they're from like Cambridge, or whatever.
It's not.
If anyone's gonna pick up on it, it's your target audience. Like
on that note, the only film I can think about that I watched where like accents are pretty much on point every way is it Legend? Is the Tom Hardy one about the two about the craze?
Love that
because he's amazing. Well, he's amazing in those roles.
People think it's not historically accurate, and I'm like, go fuck yourself. if you want to historically, like, go watch a documentary about the craze. I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a great fun gangster story, and it's like has sad bits. It's like
he nails like the accents are perfect in that. Everything is perfect, like writing wise, and he's fucking amazing. Like he plays two brothers so fucking well.
So good.
He's in Peaky Blinders, isn't he? Tom Hardy's in Peaky Blinders, right?
I think he's in every movie we've mentioned so far.
He's in a lot. I didn't realize he went through like a load of shit before he became famous. Like I didn't realize like he was like drug addiction stage, went to rehab, out of rehab and then kind of kicked off his acting. And like
it's not as like people make more of a story about it.
Oh, of course they do. Yeah, same thing.
He's super posh. He's super posh.
Yeah, you say drug addiction stage like that's a stage every actor has to pass to get.
Yeah. Sorry, of course. Yeah, obviously.
He passed that stage, and now he's a famous actor.
And here is for your final test to get into the Hollywood Arts District. There's a bag in front of you of a load of different things. Just take whatever you want, and then we'll sort you out in the near future.
Here's a funny Christopher Nolan tidbit. My mate was in Dunkirk, and apparently the whole way through they were all taking the piss out of Cillian Murphy, being like, when do we put the bag on your head? Because in every other Christopher Nolan film
he's got a bag on his head.
So when does that happen in this movie? And it's like once you clock it, you're like, fucking
hell. It does. Yeah, it does.
And Tom Hardy, like, I don't know if Christopher Nolan hates Tom Hardy's nose and mouth.
He always has his mouth covered.
But he's always just acting with his eyes.
Yeah. I wonder how those calls go. Do you reckon he calls him and he's like, I've got another role for you? And he's like, oh. And he's like, you're going to wear a mask again. You're going to be in another one. And he's like, oh. I mean, I'm trying so careful, by the way, not to lead it into like, let's talk about Christopher Nolan for the next hour, because I've done that so much.
They can make a film about the pandemic, and it's just going to be like Tom Hardy as the main character, because he can always have his
He's also wearing a mask,
Killed it, yeah.
Actually, we'll go around that real quick. Dan, I'll go with you first. Like, do you want to watch any movies where they actually reference the pandemic?
I fully thought you were going to go, Dan, masks, yes or no?
No, yes, wear your mask. Wear your fucking mask.
Not really.
Yeah, because I think I don't. It
TV shows that were filming during it to be like if it's set during the pandemic and so every now and then people are wearing masks, I don't mind. But I don't want a thing being like specifically about the pandemic. That has been my life since last March.
Was so the pandemic, and that was also boring as shit. So
Malcolm Marie was really dull. But like, I just don't make anything where you're like, we have to keep it relevant to update events. Remember this thing happened? Like, I don't care. I did that. Please don't rub it down.
Historical films that, like, about things happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I remember it. Like...
I mentioned to you lot, I watched that fucking awful Nicolas Cage movie about the girl and the numbers and the world of disaster events, right? Because like I feel like that's where it was dreadful. But I feel like that they're the kind of movies where they're like disaster events. Here we go, pandemic. Like I don't need to. Did you ever get shown? There's a movie with like, it's about a pandemic. I can't remember what the fuck it's called.
Contagion.
That one. With, so dull.
Matt Damon. I think
Matt Damon. It's got an amazing cast.
Should we start a new slow-moving disaster? Yeah.
Should we start a new call real quick? Let me go and.
Good idea.
Dan, do you want to say a word real quick? So
I hate the pandemic. The pandemic sucks. There we go.
We've started doing this new thing where we just cut Dan's sentence midway through and use it as a transition to the next call.
Right.
Yeah, it's really overcomplicated and unnecessary.
Got the sentence right.
No, Dan always forgets the sentence he says, and therefore we have to sort of weirdly shovel it together. Which
how well does it usually work, Jimmy? You're the one that edits it.
Yeah.
It's a solid try. Like it.
Okay,
nice.
You would appreciate it. You would appreciate it if you saw it, but like it's not good. Like.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what I'm excited for.
Go on.
So I don't know if you've seen. I've got this like new topical comedy show that I do.
I was actually going to mention that it's really good. Yeah.
So the problem with it is like we do too many stories in every episode, so we've like parsed it down and gonna like split it up. So there's gonna be a sports one, a gaming one, and a viral one, and it's gonna be separated so you can hit the target audiences better. But we've also changed the kind of format of it because I was like, I feel like I'm a little bit far away from the camera in it, so it's harder to land jokes. Like you can see all of me and a sofa and background shit, and I'm like, it's just like internet stuff is like fucking there. So. But we've put in some like, we didn't want to do the standard like jokes. And then so it's just like, because what we had been doing is just a 2-camera setup. Now all of
but I enjoyed you doing the setup punchline. Setup. I enjoyed and
just something. But what we're doing now is, so that was just a 2-camera setup and we would just go between. But now what we're doing is it's all 1 camera, but it's set up. And then the punchlines are all handheld extreme close-ups.
Oh my god, yes.
So it's like my face is the full, like, it's just there.
It's just
and
there.
I'm like, and then like, but it's in all, like, sometimes I'm looking up, and it's just like, it's like a super internety, normal, topical news show.
Yeah.
The filming of it is like an experimental short film.
Is that is your? I actually really enjoyed. My favorite one was your Paddy's joke when on Paddy's Day you dressed in your what I imagine is just your regular Paddy's Day attire, right?
Yes. No, they bought that for me and told me to wear it. I was like,
I was gonna say, who's it in conjunction? Who do you do it with? Who is it?
Stakester, who probably don't pay me enough to say their name on other things.
Well,
but it's a cool. It's a really
cool show. It does well. It does.
It's a cool show. Funny. It's called Patch Notes, and it is no longer called Patch Notes. It's called Sports Whack, Viral Whack, and Games Whack. But
if you haven't already, go give it a check. Check it out. It's a good.
But their app is it's cooler than they let it on. So in the ads, they're like, whatever I need to say to make this legal for me to tell you what the game does. That's it. I've just said it. Whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But like, because it's not gambling. But basically, if we're playing a video game online, and you both have the app, you can like wager a $5.
yes, we get around those contract rules. Love it. Yay. Good fun.
I don't really want to play games with my friends, especially some of my friends, and then not only is there a threat of them like throwing their controller across the room, but they're doing it because they've lost money.
That's the dream.
Want them, like, a lot of them know where I live as well, so like
a lot of what I really, Jimmy, I'm assuming you look back to check something in your room, right? Because you look back and it looked like someone had disturbed your recording by busting through the door. You look
not
back
just
around.
anyone.
No, I apologise. But you spun around like that.
Famously famous for racist outbursts. Cosmo.
I was going to say, he's been in trouble every time, isn't he? He's still in trouble now.
Have you seen the clip?
No, what's he done now?
It is like the original one that got him cancelled.
Oh right, okay.
It's hilarious.
Okay, good.
So funny. So he's on stage at the Laugh Factory, and a black guy starts heckling him, and he just goes on a racist tirade. Like, it's like, imagine, like, you know, the comedian destroys heckler.
Yeah.
Times 1,000 and racist. Like, it's so aggressive. And it's because so much of his stuff's improvisational. Like,
yeah.
There is a thing where you can go like so aggressive that it's like funny because obviously you don't mean it anymore.
Yeah. But he definitely means all of it.
He's like
he didn't
back
start
in the
on that
day
line either. Like he was just like
he calls the N-word and all. It's so crazy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It wasn't like he went too far towards the end where he started to like get a bit too excited. It was like he just went
which is so hard because there's a Dave Chappelle set at the Laugh Factory on YouTube, which is really, really funny, where he goes like, he's like, I don't have any material. That stuff's for pussies. And then he just goes, every time I come here, I just think about that time Kramer fucked up.
He says that he doesn't like see it as race. He just thinks like the comedian side of him just thinks like he's just.
He's like I'm half comedian, half black guy. It was like the black guy after me was like, man, that's so racist. But then the comedian's like, oh, Kramer had a bad set. Like, you'll get him next time, Kramer.
Last time you were on, we chatted about Dave Chappelle and how amazing he is.
He's starting to annoy me.
Did he get the rights back to his show? I thought they gave him the rights back, didn't they? Because he was like, just everyone boycott this thing, and they were like, well, this is no longer making any more money. So there you go. Nice, good to see though. Good to see people getting the
100%
create. It's good to see.
It is starting to annoy me a little bit.
His show or him?
Like, so he doesn't have. Like, he never had social media, and I like that kind of mystique that people have. He just kind of, but now he does. He's got Instagram and stuff for that, and he brought it out to like make a comment on the George Floyd stuff, and I was like, that's someone I want to hear from about the stuff that's going on. And then But now it's just like all this petty shit. It's always like, it's like every time he posts, it's like, this person owes me $5. It's just like, come on.
Do you remember, this is a very weird, do you remember like a year ago or two, 50 Cent on Instagram just started sending pictures of people being like, this guy owes me money. Go just DM him. And then whenever he DM'd the guy and be like, yeah, he did it to like every fucking artist you can think of. He was like, I know you have my money, I want my money. And then he just posts the messages on the text between the two of them being like, I want my money, and the guy being like, oh, I don't have it. And he just start posting. It was like a month of 50 Cent just going, right, whose day can I fucking ruin by just demanding they owe me money? And then they do it, and obviously all of the comments would be like, yeah, we got your back. And then you go look at the other guy's comments, and all of the comments on there would be like, give 50 his money, give 50 his money. I'm like, stop just harassing people just because you want something back or attention or whatever the fuck you're doing.
So mad because like Dave Chappelle's already like a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know. Some of it, like I get like artists should be paid, and he definitely got fucked over with the contracts.
Yeah.
But part of me, like the super cynical part of me is like, yeah, you got fucked over with the contract.
You're doing all right.
Everyone in show business has been fucked over. Signed a contract in their 20s, and then you've done better than most.
Yeah, like, you've come out lucky for that. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's good that he has it back, and hopefully he'll make more sketches. I watched some of it back. It's quite jarring. The Chappelle show.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's not as
like I was expecting like these incisive racial commentary, and most of it's like, look at these titties. It's like so fucking, like it's really, people hype it up a lot.
Yeah, I think he done like one of my favorite jokes is about is it Batman and Robin I think it's Batman and Robin in the Hood, and he does about how Batman comes back to the Batmobile to find the wheels have been stolen, and it's about them trekking through the middle of the hood and trying to find a way home, which is like you say, he kind of did his stand-up was so amazing, because I've watched like one episode of that show and was like, this is not for me, and it's not what I know him for, so
yeah,
it's I'm good. Like I don't I can leave this here and alone. Speaking of comedians, I watched Palm Springs.
Haven't seen it.
The obviously Andy Samberg thing. I actually had a fucking blast of it. It's a really good movie, and I loved it. And I really like J.K. Simmons in it. I think he's really, really funny.
He's great.
He's amazing. He's really fucking talented and really funny.
Controversial opinion. He's a good actor.
That is. Well, as it's controversial, I will disagrey just to make it controversial. Okay. So there we go.
Let's talk about that.
No, he's great, and I had a really good time. I can't remember the name of the. Does anyone know the name of the actress in it? The other woman, she plays the future wife in How I Met Your Mother as well. But I'm gonna go find it out because she's fucking brilliant.
Oh, the wife that everyone hates because.
Yeah, no, everyone quite likes her. Just the show was just like we went on for 16 more years.
Don't like it.
Is it Christian Milotti? Is it Christian Milotti?
I don't know. I remember trying to avoid talking about her when I mentioned I watched it a few weeks back because I couldn't remember her name.
Remember her name, yeah. But she's great. She's really, really good.
Yeah.
I had a really good time with the show. I also really like the jokes. I think Andy Samberg's really good in a scenario like this where he can kind of just go. Like, the jokes about, like, he's been there for so long, he's done everything he possibly can in his life in this one day. Mm-hmm. And the jokes that he throws out are just great. And when they're like, oh, have you done this? And he's like, yeah, fucking course I have. I've also done all of these ridiculous, stupid things. Mm-hmm. And, like, the idea, one of my favorite ones is the idea that he just is constantly drinking, constantly high on something, won't stop doing awful, terrible drugs. And the reason in his head is like, well, what? Like, there's nothing else for me to do.
So what's the premise of the film? Is it like a Groundhog Day type thing?
Yeah, so the premise is that they're in the middle of a...
Because, like, the best way to describe it, right, is like, it's like the only time loop film I've ever seen where it actually kind of makes me feel like I would enjoy being in a time loop for a bit.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like, so
it's not Two Perfect Strangers.
No.
Well,
I mean, that was a joke because Two Distant Strangers, whatever one it is, where the black guy gets killed by the police every day. It was a joke.
No, it's not. It's not quite like that.
There's controversy about that one. Apparently, they stole it from someone else.
Oh.
A woman on TikTok posted being like, "Yo, I made this short film about a Groundhog Day for a black man getting killed by the police 4 years."
And then they took it.
And then now this shared it, and then two distant strangers get
You had that, didn't you? Sorry, on that note, people sharing shit and stealing your work. You had that happen on I must admit, the absolutely fucking hilarious meme you created of Meghan and Harry. Which was, it was in the Oprah Winfrey interview.
Clever thing.
It was so good though. It was so funny. It made me laugh so much. I know it's so simple.
You can't like vouch for it. You can't either, like, because you'd feel a bit embarrassed if you were just like, it's
So Dan, Dan, have you seen? Dan, did you see? Do you know what I'm on about? It's you know the Oprah interview and like how it was set up. Yeah. So it's that. But there's two famous football players, the Toure brothers. One's called Colo, one's called Yaya. They used to have a chant that would go Yaya, 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 Yaya Toure, and then it'd be Colo. That's the.
It's a good chant.
It's very funny, a great chant. Our friend and guest today made a meme of it, I think it was like so here we go. It goes.
So basically, it goes down low and goes Colo, and it was just Harry saying that. And then it goes up high and goes yeah, and then it's Oprah just like.
Yeah, it's that meme, right? And that meme, and you put. I saw it on your Instagram and Facebook first, or Twitter. I think it said, not Facebook. And then I was like, oh, that's fucking class. Like, share, whatever. And then 20 minutes goes by, I pick up my phone, and Lad Bible's like, check out these memes. And I'm like, oh, that's not yours. I know that's not yours.
No, but like, I thought what was funny about that is because like these like recently big celebrities will just like reply to like the accounts that have stolen your thing, being like, this is the best account on Twitter, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's just always you replying back, just like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, it's my fucking joke.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a good one.
It's funny when people wait, like, because I never really know what to do, because it seems quite petty to jump on and be like, you stole my fucking funny picture. But it's like, the problem as well is like you could watermark it, and I do that with like some of my stand-up clips. But I find that because the action of watermarking it has some kind of like pretense to it, like it's like it's almost like you assume it's going to go viral. So things I think watermarked stuff goes viral way less because people like there's just less of like it takes away from the joke that you think the joke is good enough to be worth watermarking. So I never, because people always like, oh, you should watermark it. But then I do just like reply to them all and go, you fucking parasitic little bastard. And I do think it's gross. I think all those meme pages are like,
there's
disgraceful.
Fun, like it's fine. It's
especially
fine
Lad Bible, by the way. Lad Bible does that.
I found that note.
Awful.
Yeah, fuck Lad Bible. But the like, I'll always look to like, for example, I've done it with plenty of your stuff where I'll share it to an Instagram story, but then you have your account. You have to click on the post and goes to the post. Like it should be done like that.
Instagram to just be like, actually,
but to just be like, this is now our video, or this may be your video.
Well, the weird thing on Twitter
like,
is you can just like you can do that thing where you just go tweet video and it doesn't retweet them, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
else, you don't have to tag them. It's
that's
so
just
strange.
a bad idea. Like that's just a terrible idea. But lad. When I saw that happen to yourself, I was like, that really fucking sucks. Because like, although it's not it's not. But you're not doing it with the joke. You're doing it for like, the clicks, the attract. The sort of people might.
Like, the difference is like when it happens to kind of a random person, it's like whatever. They're just doing it for clout. They're trying to build their following just for the crack.
But
like,
when it's
it
a career,
is kind of my job.
Yeah. You're trying to be funny.
It's like it's like it kind of seems dumb at first, like when you're like, I'll just like let it go kind of thing. But like, it's only stupid because you're a comedian. Like it's a joke.
That's the thing. Yeah. Jokes are difficult because it's hard to be like, that's my intellectual property, and they're like, a Colo Toure joke is your intellectual, and it's like, yes, just because it's dumb doesn't mean it's not intellectual property.
Shall we do a round of what everyone's been watching, and just sort of chat about? Dan, do you want to kick us off? You're in the top left for me, Dan, so you can kick us off.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So go for it. What have you been watching?
I've watched 2 films since we last talked. I watched RoboCop, and then I watched
newer one, right? The new. You watched both.
I watched both.
Okay, right. Yeah. The original and the remake. Which one's better, Dan?
The original.
Okay.
It was a rewatch of the original, but it was actually only the first time I've seen the 2014 one.
How was that?
It's just sort of fine.
Okay. Have any of you guys watched it? I've never watched the remake.
I've never
watched
seen either. RoboCop.
Have you ever seen either? Okay.
Oh god, like when it came out, probably.
Okay, right. Because the original was fantastic. The original was great.
Yeah,
it's a good old time.
I think my biggest problem with it is that RoboCop doesn't look as good. They
make it remake.
In the remake, they tried to make it all sleek and stuff, and
he should be a clunky, stupid man. Like,
I mean, I don't mind them using CGI, but it doesn't look as good as it's much more practical.
People lean on CGI now that it's so kind of it's become less ridiculously expensive, but I think you can always tell when something's real, and it almost always looks better. If possible, but it's just easier for them to go, oh, we'll just draw it on. It's like, I think it's a shame.
Well, it's like, I'm looking at the photo comparisons now, and like you're right in saying, like, look, the sleek idea is a nice idea, but it doesn't look right.
They start off initially with a more bulky. Bulky. It's in the silver rather than the black. But then, they pull a Batman. They're like, does it come in black? And that's a double joke because Michael Keaton says it. And I just don't think it looks as nice.
No, it doesn't. I'm looking at it now. It doesn't look as cool. It looks like a Tron suit, one of the suits.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it looks like one of those.
Because that's what Tron's supposed to look like.
I mean, Jimmy, I had that conversation with you a few weeks ago. The fucking, I love that whole thing of, the bike. Well, I don't remember what they're called, but it's the bike thing with, the lines
cycles
and
or something like
those. That. That whole fucking bit is so sick. That's such a fucking cool anything to make out of any movie. Sorry, I think it's just awesome.
I think my package has been delivered from Amazon, but they didn't ring the bell. I apparently left
nice.
They apparently have left it with my reception.
What did you order?
So that's always
good. Nice.
I ordered like that film that we're doing on Monday, but
what did you order?
That's already what I'm worried about. The fact that they handed it to my receptionist, which, by the way, I don't have.
They've just given it to some woman on the street.
We used to live above a fruit shop, and Amazon would say we give it to the receptionist, but it was just the Bangladeshi men downstairs.
That's good though. You can just say he's your receptionist. He's our receptionist.
Is that good? Is that good?
They were nice. They gave us free avocados.
You're fine then. Oh, wonderful. Oh, wow. I like the idea that you'd be you'd calling down to the shop and you're like, any mail, anything at all? No, sir. No, nothing at all down here. No.
Yeah, so
fine. Yeah.
But going back to RoboCop, because I didn't listen to what you were saying, but
I were laughing at the design.
No, because I was trying to work out who my receptionist is. I don't get this whole thing with Hollywood and trying to make these old kind of goofy looking films look cool. They did it with I mean, RoboCop's a good example because the old RoboCop is just kind of dumb. It's fun. Yeah. It's a good film. But
that's the thing. Yeah, about the original
RoboCop,
film.
Even the name is kind of a bit kind of goofy. But
it's just they just call it RoboCop. The makers of the RoboCop call him RoboCop in that. But then in the new one, they basically get the name like they do in Suicide Squad. Somebody goes, they're just what's this? He's some sort of robot cop. And it's oh my goodness, just have it be called RoboCop.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at the poster now with that design on it. It just looks
examples
weird.
Of old films that are kind of dumb that they're remaking to look.
It looks like a metallic gimp suit.
They did that with not Transformers.
Sorry, and on that note,
Transformers as well. No, but Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, Power Rangers always had that though. They weirdly kind of go. My favorite thing
is cool, but it's not cool.
If you ever look back on those Power Rangers villains, they're the most fucking weird and hilarious. It's a man in a very weird suit doing this with his arms and just sort of flailing his limbs around, and then awful CGI explosions going off. And then the minute they do here's the new Power Rangers movie, and it's this massive fucking CGI monster, I'm you're kind of not getting the point. You either have it be a human playing a human, or you have it be a human in a fucking suit that looks awful. It's one or the other. Nothing else works, because this whole thing is stupid. Or big robot. But then that's more Voltron than Power Rangers, so then you fall in that trap. But, that's it. They're your options. Don't fuck with it. Can't do any Avengers level Power Rangering.
Even superhero films like X-Men and stuff, those old well, they're not old, but I guess they are kind of
2000s, early 2000s,
but the original X-Men films, they're all just wearing black leather and stuff, and they're trying to look cool. The X-Men aren't cool.
No, they're good. They're in yellow spandex. They're in yellow and blue spandex. It should be in yellow and blue spandex.
They're just I don't know, they're just like fun characters. Like,
that being said, though, when they did attempt the yellow and blue in Dark Phoenix, looked bad.
Yeah,
They had
I will
really good-looking suits at the end of Apocalypse.
They did. Me and you loved that.
And then they just binned them off.
Classic, and they binned them off.
No, but like in the first Avengers film where Captain America's wearing that like almost
the weird pajama suit. Yeah.
And it's like that's like faithful, but it kind of looks a bit like shit. Like
it looks stupid. It looks stupid. Yeah.
And also, someone managed to make Chris Evans look small. Like if you look at him compared to any of the other Avengers in that film, he just looks like a normal bloke.
I actually think
if you compare that to him at the start of the film, he's still the same size that he is in the others. It's just something about this weird like lycra suit. It doesn't look good at all.
I think part of the issue with that as well is stop giving characters like that a really goofy, stupid helmet where like it's just like this the whole movie. They look like this with like everything squished like this, and you look stupid. Stop
I think it works. They just need to like lean into it more. Like
you either go full into like ridiculous. It's the same thing with all these franchises of like anything made or any characters created pre-2000s. You either go fully into this is ridiculous and stupid and realistically it shouldn't look cool, or you don't do it. That's like your options. Like,
I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan of like Marvel. I was when they were coming up, but now I'm kind of like whatever, it's done. But like, I remember like watching like Guardians of the Galaxy and being like, okay, that's like good because it's like kind of leaning into like how goofy and stupid it is and stuff like that.
Lean into everything.
But then I watched Endgame and you've got like Rocket Raccoon, right? Even the name alone, and he's like in this like all his like friends are dead, and he's like this like kind of like jaded raccoon who's like going to try and get like revenge on this like giant purple man.
Giant purple man.
It's a raccoon. Like, how can I take him seriously? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I really like as well. I like
it's a CG raccoon played by Bradley Cooper.
I feel like Marvel keep doing it. Stop casting. I like the fact they keep casting really good-looking actors to play characters that aren't even them on screen. Like, I don't think he is, but Egener Vest himself, Vin Diesel, who voices Groot. Like, Vin Diesel's face is never used for anything there, but they just went, who do we want to just say the same words, like 3 times, like every time?
I know.
Fuck it, we'll get Vin Diesel.
I know why they obviously it's a big name to bring in more people.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just had like an AI generated voice do it.
Yep.
It's so little stuff.
Yep. Then again, having Siri say "I am Groot" might sound a little strange, but maybe, you're right.
But I feel like is the name Vin Diesel, because presumably they're paying him a lot.
Yeah.
Is that name bringing in a lot?
It brings in a lot
money
of like
compared to any of the other people.
I
don't think it brings in
Vin Diesel until like the second one came out.
I don't like
Vin Diesel does a different voice.
Vin Diesel can't act. He can't act.
Vin Diesel did a voice in the first one.
He plays the same fucking character in every movie. All those Fast and Furious movies are shite.
Why are they paying Vin Diesel like I assume millions of dollars to say I am Groot like 5
It does
times?
seem silly. I think I prefer it when big franchises use that kind of, because Marvel films are always going to do really well. I think it's such a good opportunity. Although I read this fucking article today where it was like Marvel takes a punt on the Thor cast, and it was like they've cast relative unknowns, Tom Hiddleston and Chris, what's his name?
Hemsworth.
Yeah, and they were like, let's hope it pays off. And I was like, hilarious. But also like they could do that now. Like they could do.
Yeah, I'd argue. Yeah, no, sorry, go on, Carrot. You're entirely right. They could easily go take anyone now.
Just someone interesting, someone fresh out of drama school, someone like who needs a break, who's really talented, instead of just going, let's cycle through these 20 really hot actors.
I did hear that though, actually. I think they're doing like some, I don't know, I heard it like...
Well, the one I was going to name
ago,
was
like,
a lot of the guys in...
a new film, or like, I don't know, with like someone who's like had no acting experience before. And like, apparently she's like really good, but she's not been in anything. So people were like, I don't know. Like, I think that's probably why it hasn't been heard about. Like, no one knows
the only one I can think of is the girl who played Borat's daughter in, obviously, the newer Borat. I think she's not really done much before, because this is her first big kind of LA film, I guess. Is Borat considered an LA, Hollywood, whatever? But like, she would like this was
LA
her first real journey
into.
Sorry, my apologies. Oh, yeah, of course,
Deep parts of the internet.
Deep parts of the internet, yeah. But like I was the only one I can think of that Marvel kind of did that with, but I feel like that's only because they're not necessarily actors from like America and Europe and kind of like the west side of the world is like Shang-Chi, which is the new Marvel one that's coming out. A lot of those cast members are kind of unknown, but again, it's a very like Asian-centered cast, so it might just be because we haven't heard of them.
They might be the most famous bastards in the world. Like,
exactly. So like I don't know, which is why I agree 100%. Like it's a good shout to go. You can at this point cast anyone in this, especially
recently. So first of all, the new Star Warses, which I know people don't like or whatever, but they were open castings for John Boyega.
They like Daisy Ridley and John Boyega had done fuck all beforehand.
Yeah, like, and they were just out of drama school, and it's like, look, I didn't think she was great in it, but he's done really well. And it's like you just get more interesting things. And people kept talking about when Daniel Kaluuya won the Oscar, they were like, look how well the cast of Skins have done. And do you know why? It's because it was open casting in Bristol.
Exactly.
Yeah. Funny that I was with one the other day, but what's his name? He won everything. That's my weekly brag. There is my weekly brag. But he won everything he could have won in a year, acting award wise, which is nuts. Like that's fucking incredible.
Hilarious that they were both up for supporting actor.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It was.
And they're both half of the poster each. Like it's insane.
You know, it made me laugh that Daniel Kaluuya is like. I don't want to say I forget, but he's so he doesn't often do. Like, I don't see him always on the front cover interviews and things, or always doing like, he does this thing. Whenever he's on, like, I remember watching the episodes where he's on Graham Norton before, and he's so funny, he's so charming, he's so kind of lovable.
Well, I'm like,
you're
a real life person. Like,
but he doesn't get like, he doesn't. My point was like, it's a refreshing thing to see an English actor kind of be happy to go talk about any issue, because I saw he did a lot of like stuff about black actors getting into Hollywood and things, which was really nice to see. And like, oh cool, you're happy to take your stances on these, which is lovely. But also like, you're not going to do, I don't know, I don't, like, for example, every year there's a fucking big action thing with a Rock in. Every year. Yeah. And I like the refreshingness of going, oh no, he's not just going to do a thing every year and make it like, here's another thing I did, here's another thing I did, here's more of me. If you're not fed up with me yet, here's more of me. Like, please, do stuff that you enjoy doing, or you're actually fucking worth it.
I haven't seen Judas and the Black Messiah, but
neither have I.
Written by some real stoner comedians, which is really funny to me.
It's really good. It actually has like, it's got like a proper like personality behind it. So
have you seen the Lucas brothers stand up?
No, I haven't. No.
It's so they're identical twins.
Oh, are they the one who does they do the sketch about Charles Barkley getting the call from Michael Jordan for Space Jam?
I think so, yeah.
I think they
do stand up on stage together.
Yeah.
And it's just super stonery, silly comedy. And then they wrote...
I think I have seen them in some stuff. But...
Judas and the Black Messiah, which
it is them. Yeah, they do the joke about how he goes and calls him, and he's like, I want you to be on a basketball team with Bugs Bunny. And he's like, what? What? And he's like, Mike, what? And he's like, yeah, but you're not actually going to be in it. You're going to get your powers stolen by aliens. And he's like,
so funny.
What? Yeah, no, them two I've seen some clips of. They're fucking great.
They're really funny, but then, like, apparently they've been writing that, which is just it's quite depressing for a creative with no money. They've been writing that since 2012.
Yeah, man. It's
films take so long to
make. I remember reading, because it's Seth Rogen wrote Superbad, right? That's him and Michael Cera's project, isn't it? Because he talks about how he wrote the first draft of that when he met Michael Cera in like high school or something, and then they made it.
Cera.
Is it not Michael Cera? Oh, okay.
No, he's in the film. He's playing.
Is he not?
The other writer.
I thought he was.
Effectively the other writer.
Oh, okay, right.
I never remember the other guy's name.
It's the Seinfeld thing where.
Well, like he wrote it since like
Larry David isn't Larry David.
Yeah, he wrote it when he was like, I think he's like in
Evan Goldberg is.
Evan, thank you. Yeah. He wrote it when he was like fucking 14, 13, something like that. The first draft of it, and then it just got built on, and then he made it when he was like, I think Seth Rogen must have been about 30 when he made that, right? He's about 40. He's late 40s now, is he not? I think he's late 40s. I'm gonna find out. But like stuff like that is just like depressing. Just smokes a lot of weed. He does look very. He also is like, nothing makes me laugh more than when he does dumb shit and then laughs, and his laugh is ridiculously infectious, considering how retarded it sounds.
That guy who looks exactly like Seth Rogen pushing that police officer.
Oh, it's so funny. And then the video, there's a clip where it's in the riots, isn't it? The big riots that happened in Minneapolis.
I think so.
And it's a clip of like some guy who looks like Seth Rogen from behind kicking over or pushing a policeman or something and running off, like running away. But some guy put Seth Rogen's laugh over it, so it sounds like he pushes him, laughs, and just runs off. It's fucking brilliant. It's so good.
So funny.
Dan, I forgot, Dan. We were talking about Seth Rogen last week, weren't we? Because he's Invincible, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Fucking outstanding. Have you watched any of that, by the way, Vittorio?
What?
The Invincible. It's an animated show on Amazon.
I'm bad for animated stuff. I don't know why. I just have a weird thing with it.
If you get a chance, give it a go. It's only short. It's fucking outstanding and worth its time. I'm trying to find out where he's got 7 credits for Thanks on.
I watched Crazy Rich Asians last night.
Oh, what'd you think? Oh, I've seen that.
So, I thought a number of things.
Okay.
It was interesting. I thought there was interesting like things raised that I hadn't really considered before about kind of how a collectivist view to society versus an individualistic view to society kind of applies to things. Mm-hmm. Alongside some really interesting cultural clashes and kind of cultural knowledge being shared. Some of the corniest writing and directing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's very strange that you're just like, there was just too many moments where I was like, that's so hack. Like that is so hack for you to be
forced.
Doing. Like that bit on the plane, if you haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians, but it's like a romantic scene on a plane where like, I'm like, why are you just doing Hugh Grant? Like, why is this ever? It just felt very, and I know a lot of it's supposed to be jarring. Like that's the thing with it. Like it's supposed to be like that, but I don't know. And when everyone in a movie is too rich, like when the person driving the Audi R8 is like, I'll never be good enough for them because they're rich. I'm like, you're driving an Audi R8.
Yeah.
Like I struggle with that stuff a little bit, but I think it's worth watching, particularly if you're white.
I mean, I agree. It's an eye opener in some ways. It's also a corny movie in other ways. It was fine. The only other thing I was going to say, I watched the new Bad Batch Star Wars show on Disney Plus, and
did that come out?
It did come out. Yeah, it came out May the 4th. It's really good fun. The first episode was really, really good. Enjoyed it a lot. It's another animated thing, but it was really good fun. I had a good time with that one. So if you want more Star Wars content, go watch that. Jimmy, do you want to give us a thing you watched or have been watching?
I literally haven't seen anything in the last since we last did the podcast.
All right, well, I guess we'll go to our guest and then wrap up then.
Working very hard on school.
You have been working very hard. Jimmy's been doing a lot, including
good job, Jimmy.
Layout. This wonderful new layout for the
Don't
podcast.
Listen to them. I don't care what anyone says about you. You're a good guy.
Cheers. Thanks. That means a lot.
That makes it sound like we all don't say. Yeah, all right, yeah. I constantly message Vittorio complaining about Jimmy all the time. Vittorio, what have you been watching? What have you been having?
I saw Crazy Rich Asians. I saw The Dark Knight Rises.
I saw Sopranos.
Started watching Sopranos.
Yep.
Anything else we've been watching, Izzy? She's on her headphones. Have we watched anything else apart from Crazy Rich Asians, The Sopranos, and Dark Knight trilogy?
It can be anything.
It doesn't have to be a film.
I mean, we watched The Office.
We watched all of The Office, and one of them's wearing a t-shirt. I don't know if you saw.
You enjoy? I'm assuming you had a good time.
I really enjoyed the ending of The Office. I think
good.
It's a show that really did it well. I was really worried that it was just going to slip into the. I'm on a podcast. You gonna attack me with a bug thing?
Remember how we had our cold open beforehand? I think we might have just found a better replacement one.
I thought I like that whole because it really loses momentum and just like towards the end it's like, oh god, why is Will Ferrell here? And and then Catherine Tate like kind of overstays her welcome a bit, but I think what really pulled me like they kept the Jim and Pam storyline really, really honest and really, really good, and that kept me with it until the very end.
I think also like I can't remember the actors. It's Rainn
Wilson.
Rainn Wilson, yeah. Like he thoroughly, I think for me, by the end is kind of a big driving force of how he just becomes like the main character towards the end, where he's very one of my favorite jokes.
Depth
is it's such a fucking there's such a fucking good joke where the policeman's trying to pull him over and he's throwing the weapons out the car window on the other side of the motorway, and the policeman's like, Dwight, I can see the weapons, and he's throwing nunchucks and shit out his window. It's brilliant. So funny. That is a show that I'm rewatching Community at the moment, but I think I'm going to go back to The Office after I finish it.
I watched Community when I was a teenager, and like I remember I loved it. Like,
it's really good. Yeah.
I think maybe if I went back, I would be.
I actually see. I thought that like when I went back, I would be. I actually got my mum is a massive Schitt's Creek fan, and she really loved that. And I watched an episode and was like, nope. But I said to her, like, watch Community, see if you like that kind of thing. Because she doesn't like that kind of humor usually. Like, she won't laugh out loud at that kind of weirdly, like, just strange kind of different humor. But she fucking loves it. Like, she absolutely loves it. And people, a few friends of mine I got on watching it, they all, like, really, really thoroughly enjoy going back now and watching it. I kind of
understand that, Vittorio, though, because, like, I feel like the reason it didn't do as well as things like The Office is because, like, it found its target audience very early on. And it was just like, we'll just make it for them because they like clearly like what we're doing. Yeah. And that's why like it got cancelled like 5 times. It's because like no one was watching it except for this like very small group of people. And eventually it what they wanted to do, and now it's kind of like people have seen it.
It's a good fun thing to go back to,
But like I don't really blame anyone for not wanting to.
No, yeah, fair enough. We're about to run out of time, so shall we wrap up the episode?
Follow me on Instagram.
I was going to say, do you want to give your ads? Go on, check out all your ads. Go on.
Follow me on Instagram. I don't have any podcasts at the minute, but just follow me on Instagram for sketches and clips and funny stuff.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. We'll put the link in the description below. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We'll be back at some point next week. I think we've got another guest lined up next week as well. Vittorio's back. No, I'm joking. But we'll see you all later. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Goodbye.